All right, good morning, guys. Got another end of month that's come around really quick. Yep, new switch up B&B. We'll get some motivation going at the start of each stream. I think get everyone fired up for our Thursday night streams or Friday mornings in Australia. Pumped. Alrighty, let's start off on our higher time frame. We'll work our way down. Does my mic sound all okay? This is all being recorded as well. We've got OBS going. Alrighty, let's start on the. We'll start on the monthly. We did the higher time frame step down last week from the 12-month, which I've done a few times. If you want to look into that, you can check that on YouTube from our last recording. Monthly, we're just interested in what this current monthly candle is doing, and are we at the high? Can we look at a retracement at all, or is it going to keep expanding today? So from the current, like pretty bullish so far, right? So we've opened low, come back into the previous monthly candle. We can draw out our rectangle box on that monthly candle, and we can see 50% of that very well respected there. Yeah, spot on. Which is what, guys? Very bullish. Open low, high close, respect 50% of the previous candle. Cozy long every day. As we're reaching the end of the month now, we can look at the same levels we use for a TGIF. So we'll pop that on and check it out. And it doesn't, when we're extremely bullish, doesn't have to come back that far, but we want to have it on there to check. We can do the same with the last month as well to give you an idea of when they don't retrace, right? So this was only a small wick and didn't even come back to the 0.2 there. But worth having this on over the day and watching if we are going to retrace and where to. All right, weekly. Pretty bullish and a huge gap here. That's opened up. And we have this week here. This is what we were discussing last week. So because we've broken out, this was the downswing. Let me just change my cursor. Demonstration, sorry. So this candle here, this was the downswing that caused the breakout that took the highs here. And then once we've closed above, then that locks this in. So on the weekly now, we want to be paying attention to this. So we can have this drawn on. And we want to watch 50% of this as well. And so if price does come back in, we're looking for that to hold for bullish continuation. And then we're going to be getting a BISI in here once this week closes as well, pending how, if we get any lows come in. And then we've got our 3 days. So our 3 days just showing this swing a bit cleaner than we had. We've also got a 3-day down close candle here that we can watch, which is inside that weekly swing for additional support. Can also watch that previous weekly high here if we draw that on. And from that close to our current high, we can watch for a bearish reaction in here as well. And watch 50% of this later on for next week. If this closes bearish, we can then watch that for maybe a open high, low close next week. And then to start the month off into a open low down into here, and then to push off if we're going to get a bullish November. So lots of key areas to watch here. It's downswing here and our other bullish order block here to work with. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Looking forward to seeing how November starts to play out and the puzzle pieces that we get. All right, we'll jump into our daily. So on the daily, we'd been watching the swing back from here. This main low swing that we had back in April. So that was our main manipulation swing. So we can draw that box back across that we have, and then we can do our standard deviation pull from there. So I've been saying for quite a while now that we're watching SD 1.5. And then next level will be SD 2.5. So guys, what do we expect after SD 1.5 gets hit? That we've talked about a few times. Yeah, exactly, reaccumulation. And a lot of the time we can see that in an SBS formation. So once we get our breakout, so we have our breakout here. If we pop that high in, we get our breakout, and then that becomes our first swing. So we now have 1. Then we're going to look for 2. Then we're going to have 3. And then we can look for longs under 2 into continuation up to 6. And ideally up to SD 2.5 for the next leg. We can also, as that's forming out, watch this swing that we have here on the daily. So this was the low that caused that breakout. So it could be trapped shorts in here. That could need mitigating as well. 1, 2, we come back, sweep to mitigate the shorts in here, and then that creates the fuel for longs to keep going up. Any questions on that, guys? Yeah, so our JS, we're normally looking for those reaccumulations at or around the SD 1.5. And they start from the breakouts because it's a breakout sequence, right? Swing breakout. So yeah, that becomes our first swing to watch. Be interesting to go into this next week as well, and we'll see how the formation is going. So if we get a 2 and then we push up and take the high, then we can treat that as 3. And then we get excited when price is coming back to sweep 2. And we can start building confluence for longs. And that will obviously be invalidated if we come down like this and we retest here and then we sell off. All right, so back on our monthly and our bullish monthly candle, we'll now jump into our other 6-hourly chart, which we've been watching each week as well. No worries there. So this is the 6-hour chart. We've been watching this since September as well. So we had our September manipulation. That was an open low into a high close. October's been a little bit more tricky. We had that, so we had Trump and China tariffs come in here, which created this big sell-off. This has now become our low of the month. We can put our PO3 on. We'll set that to the monthly. So this is our monthly candle that we've got now, so quite bullish. So we basically had our, if we treat this all as the open, right? So we had our open, then we get our low. Now we've gone high, and now we're looking for that. See where that close comes in, whether it comes up again and closes, or whether we just consolidate around here, or even come back to that 0.2, 0.3 retracement. We've hit that SD 4.5 now from the September low. So these levels worked quite well over the month, 1 to 2 months, 1.5, 2.5, we get the retracement. So we hit, so same as what we're looking at on the daily, right? So we hit SD 1.5, we go into reaccumulation in here, and we come up to SD 2.5. So, we get our breakout, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're looking for the high to be 6. So we get our breakout, we get the swing low, that becomes 2. We come back, we sweep it. We come back to the order block, the downswing that created the previous breakout. We're bullish until that gets flipped to come down. And then we can target the 3 high for 6. It's the same thing as what we'll be looking at on the daily for a similar setup. It was very clean SBSs coming through September. So then we come up, hit SD 3.5 here, and then we'll just shot straight up this week, hitting that SD 4.5 on the 6 hourly. So we've got our open for the monthly low, news driven low, come back up, we make a high low here, and once we flip the SIBI in the manipulation swing, we flip a SIBI in a manipulation swing, and then that then alleviates the or removes our bearish sentiment, right? So right here we have our 0.79 swing, and we're inside the SIBI here, so we can stay bearish until that SIBI gets flipped. So taking shorts from here, the 7.9, even here when we're at that would have been around our 618. It's okay to be bearish. We can keep selling until we come back up and we're flipping that CE. We come back in to the SIBI here, respect 50% of the SIBI, and we push up. It's when the bearish arrays are being disrespected and we need to change our mindset to the month becoming bullish. And so we have our, so the month segregated here into quarters, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally you'll see that low come in that first quarter, but we got it into the second one in this stage. And then now we're hitting the high in the fourth quarter. So September, quarter 1 low into, this is actually quarter 3 high. All expansion all the way up into quarter 3, and then just consolidation range for the last quarter. So yeah, huge expansion here. This is like our breakout at the moment, right? 1, 2, 3. We come back, we've swept that already. If we count this one out. 1, 2, 3, 4. We sweep 2, and now possibly drawing back towards 6. So interesting to see if we do get another high today and then it comes back to finish off the month, or if we do just consolidate here for the day. All right, well, let's jump into our daily review next. Have you guys been enjoying watching the 6 hour play out with the monthly? Just hit replay on this so we can pop our daily candle on as well with our review. Cheers, guys. It's my favorite stream of the week. I love walking through all of the price action and putting the puzzle pieces together. All right, we'll pop our daily PO3 on. They pretty much ended up in doji candle. Big wicks on both sides. And we just need our quarters. There we go, time and price. So we had our, this is our FOMC move here. I've done a fixed range volume profile of that main swing. That was where most of the volume was in for that previous day. And that was the POC here, right? That was a magnet for the whole day. So we come into our Asia Open here. Huge push up on open. Push up, we come back. We can do an OTE swing of that too and have a look. So from the low to the high. Just change that to OTE. Where are we? Just there. So we've got a 7-9 soup. So this big push up, we come back down, consolidate. This was building liquidity the whole time here. Staircase down into elevator up. So then we went into our 9-10. Back to, this is the POC here too, this grey line that you can see. So this is, got long here during that 7 o'clock macro, the 1910 macro there. And I was using this order block here, which caused this breakout. That became the bullish order block. That was my entry for a long. I'd stop below here. And then we had this push straight away. So I had partials, and then stop was up to break even. Then we had this due to swing back down to 730 to come back down. This was annoying. So that took me out. I wasn't at the computer at the time, so runners taken out at break even, and then I didn't get back into that stream. Nice swing failure pattern here, candle at the 7-9 suit. So after the close of this, we can look for longs off that open with stop below. This gets invalidated with candle close below 50% of the wick here of this swing failure pattern candle. So it comes down, it sweeps the previous candle. We can look to target the high of that candle and target the range high with our SFEs. So we get that close, and then we get that strong push out. This then becomes our manipulation zone for Asia. So this is a Q2 manipulation zone. Do I have that drawn on as a box? No, I'll pop that on. Come on. Asia Q2 manipulation zone. So then we're working off of this for Asia, and that's invalidated if we come back down and flip it to come back out. So we then put on our standard deviations, and we're looking at SD 1.5, 2.5, and higher. We then also have our PDH here. So PDH was the draw here for the session. Flipping VWAP and that 20 SMA here as well. This is our 200 SMA. So we come back up, we hit SD1 into that reaccumulation, push up SD 1.5, and then PDH and SD2. We then get this bearish engulfing here. Didn't quite break structure there for a zone until we had this candle. So a bit tricky to get a short in here. So this will call our Asia Q4 manipulation zone. We started the sell off. And then same thing, looking at targets 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. This move just smashed all of them straight down. Then coming into London, we're looking at a SBS from this move here. So if we count this out, so we have our break. This becomes 1. Retracements 2. We break 1, becomes 3. 4 and 5 was up here. So for bearish continuation after this strong sell-off, we do our OTE swing. So from the high to the low, and we're looking for shorts once price comes back into that zone. So 6.2 to 7.9. So we come up to the 7.05, and then we get our bearish engulfing here, right? The tweezer highs that we talk about. So that becomes our minus OB. That's where I entered short for London there into Q2. And then targeting the low, I did step down the stop loss with this one, so which was about here, I think. So on this retracement, this took me out for 50 points. I had it locked in. So the short idea, so from here, oops, from the bearish OB, stop loss goes above, and then we're targeting that 3 low. The reason why I'd stepped down the stop loss here, I didn't want coming into 2 o'clock. So 2 o'clock open was here, sorry, for the 4 hour. I didn't want this to be a 4 hour open low, high close, and come back and take me out, especially after 50 points. Which was back here. So that was where I had my stop loss there for the retracement. So this was a nice clean SBS. Does everyone understand that? So we get our change in state delivery here. That's our 1 swing. Retracements 2. We need a break of 1 for the 3rd swing. Then we get 4. And then a sweep of 4 for 5. Into our OTE. And then, yeah, very nice structure there. If we look at this on the 1 minute, there's a nice change of state delivery in here and a BPR as well, if we're going to drill that down. So very nice structure there. We can do a 1 minute standard deviation pull from that as well. So we have 1.5. Oops. And then the other levels don't get hit until this swing over here in New York. All right, so then we can see we're bouncing off that POC there each time as we're coming back. Just some consolidation here into Q4. And then we get another change in state delivery here and push down to SD 2.5. Bouncing off that POC again, and then we come back up into New York Q2. Get a Q2 manipulation here. Let's put that in the right spot. So we can drag that box on. NYAM Q2 manipulation. We get the break of the zone. We come back into the zone. So we can look for shorts straight off the zone or within PD arrays within that zone. I think it just missed that. We can enter off of that civvy there. Did it just touch? Very close. And then looking at, so stop would be above the high, and TPs at SD 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4. So if anyone's in this short, you'd be pretty happy once you see that fixed range volume profile pot get broken. Right, just like support and resistance flip. When you see a level that's just getting hammered 3 times and then price breaks through, it's a lot of confluence for your direction. Uh, 3.5 and 4.5 there. And then price continued down to the manipulation from that 1 minute swing that we had here. Have a, this looks like a bullish Q3 manipulation, but failed. So like break down, 1, 2, 3, 4, sweep the high, continue down. BPR in there as well. Wonder how many people were longing the BPR in here. Lost screen. Can you guys still see? Yeah. All good? Cool. Might need to rejoin, Tony. No worries. So, from here, so this was our 6 o'clock H4. So this is an open, high, low, close. Then we go into our 10 o'clock H4. So we've had our open, high. We have a quick raid here. Open, high, low, close. Real consolidation range there for the 4-hour body. And then the next H4, we've gone open, low, high, close. We have our Q3 manipulation here. We can draw that on. For people that were trading the PM, right at the end here. So NY PM Q3 manipulation. We do our standard deviations from there. And same thing, guys. We're looking for 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4 to 4.5. We'll wait for retracement back into the zone. We also look for the PD arrays within the zone. We have the BISI in here. Have BISI CE in here. So we can look for long straight off the zone or within that PD array. Stop always below the zone. And we're looking, yeah, TP1, SD 1.5, which hit nice and quick. And didn't get up to TP2, yeah, SD 2.5 there. So now for Asia, we can stay with this zone until that holds. Until that holds, we stay with these standard deviations for the next day. You missed the long? No stress, man. Sorry, guys, just catch up on the chat quickly. Can you tell me the name of the PO3 daily indicator? What does that come up under? Haven't had to add it for a really long time. I can't remember the full name. It's just showing up as PO3 there. There's quite a few different ones on there though. Just do a search for PO3 in the indies. I'll have another look after the stream if you want and pop it in the chat. It's always handy to have that on as well as the day is playing out, right? And we come into those key areas because we're trying to work out where the low and high of the day is and trying to catch the body moves. That's the main idea of the day, right? Catching these 4-hour moves, expecting the high, which we want that to be the high of the day or the low of the day if we're trying to catch 4-hour expansions back. All right, let's jump into our daily chart setup next. So we get out of the replay mode. Adrian, did you catch the long tonight? I didn't, Cozy. I was too busy prepping for the stream, unfortunately. So I can be sad with Abby. Abby. So H3, H4 stuff, I'm still a little lost. If you can give a quick breakdown real fast from Rope. Yeah, man. So with the H4, do you mean like on the daily review that we're looking at? So H4, that's why I map these out each day. So H4, and I'm trying to work out the candle, right? If it's going to be an open high, low, close, I want to catch that body's expansion on each H4. Same as here, open, low, high, close. So I want to catch this expansion through here. And we're doing that by using these 5-minute standard deviations. So that's becoming the body's expansion of each H4. So that's why we're pairing these 5-minute change in state deliveries. And when you get the good ones, the body expansion will be down to an SD 4.5. Look at that 200 SMA holding there too, Coz. So swept the 1800 low. Just outside the 15-minute macro, but sweeps the low, comes back, flips the SIBI in here. It's pretty clean. Respects the SIBI, CA. If we do an OTE of that too, this is how I get distracted from doing the daily chart setup. 0.79 soup. Respects the SIBI, no body close above. Respects 50%. Soup and send. This now, this was the low swing that caused the breakout. So we have a box here we can draw on. And then we do our next one now, because that's locked in. And we can do another OTE swing from here to here. Just get rid of that PO3. We stay with the trend while each zone stays intact and 50% of that zone holds. Thanks, man. It's a curse though, like wanting to have nice clean charts all the time, right? It's a lot of work. All right, chart setup. First thing we do, PDH, PDL. Let's pop on ICT kill zones and pivots to get my levels. And we want to draw these out to 1800 to prepare for the day. PDH, PDL. We're going to do OTE, the daily range. So just coming up to that 6.2 now. We want to have the zones and, sorry, fixed range volume profile we'll do next. So if we grab that here, and we're running that from PDH down to PDL. Let's see where all the volume came in. Down here. Becomes a point of interest for the day as well. Interesting. We also have like relative equal highs in here too to watch. We've taken out these ones and PM high. So we'll pop our previous sessions on. So New York PM high. Did it get it right this time? From 1330. Yeah. And NYPM low is PDL. Let's pop that on as well. Plus PDL. Yeah, this is being recorded. Okay, so now we're going to put on our previous session zone. So we had that Asia high here, which was high of the day. It's actually an odd time. This was an out of stat high of the day. Low of the day is in stat. We're going to grab this manipulation zone again here. So this is our Q3 manipulation zone that we were talking about before from NYPM. NYPM. Q3. And that's standard deviation we're currently working with as we're pushing higher. And that's all we need those sessions on for. Let me get rid of that. All right, now we're going to draw our lines on these SD levels. Don't forget 6, yeah. 8. All right, we'll put 6 on for cozy today. Make my chart smaller now. All right, so we'll mark out SD 1.5. Has it already been hit? Is that the right size? SD 2.5. Look at that. Tags SD 2.5, goes into plausible reaccumulation to then push up to the next SD level. 3.5, 4.5, and a cozy money bag up there. With inflation, SD is extending as well, yeah. All right, we want to put our 4-hour vertical levels on so we can monitor the 4 hours. So 1800, 2200, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1400, and end of day. Do we do the SBS formation there? Yeah, we can watch it for sure. We've got one here too, which would have been nice really if we swept this here. I wonder if did ES sweep that low? Swept one here, it did. So there's one from this breakout that we had. 3, and then 4, 5 into 6. So we didn't get the sweep, but we got the sweep on ES, which gives us SMT, right? So that was our 2. So we count it as a sweep when we have SMT there. So then we get another breakout, and then we can start the sequence again if we're going to get continuation. So we break above here, we've got our 1, 2. We want to wait for a sweep of 1 to get 3, and then we can look for 4 and 5. And we can use this down close swing for support for the 4 and 5. Because invalidation is the break of the origin of the move. So if we do this, the SBS is invalidated, and we can look for this to be a high manipulation zone, and we change our bias, and then we can do a standard deviation pull from here and look for it to come back down and possibly back to here. Can also do now, so another OTE swing. Oh, once we get 3, sorry. This is similar to last week. I think we're having a similar discussion. It was playing out the same. So this OTE swing is going to keep adjusting until we get our 3rd swing in. And then this becomes our point of interest. Ideally, the low comes in during a 1 o'clock macro, or like even maybe into the next H4 for an open low. Respect 50% of the zone, and then push up, and we target the high of 3. And then we're watching these levels here as well. So the next sort of in-stat time for a high of the day, if we're not going to come back up and take PDH, then we want to look for shorts around this area. And ideally, if it's going to be a London high of the day, maybe we sweep the highs here. We get a 7-9 suit into a 330 move, and then we get a breakdown and a change in state of delivery during that key time between 3 and 4 o'clock. The timing has been off, like this last week though. We've seen this come in sort of around 4 lately, 4:15, which has been a bit odd. So if we get this and our change in state of delivery, then same thing. We do our standard deviation pull from that swing. We're looking for entries within the PD array within a zone. We'll draw our zone across, and then we're targeting SD levels plus previous session lows. And, you know, if we just grind up like this, it'd be really good, because then we get all that liquidity building up. And we want that liquidity to line up with our take profit targets. This would actually be perfect, right? With SD 4.5 back at that POC. Yeah, they're onto us, that's right. They're changing it because we're moving the market too much. Let's have a look. How are we going for time? I still got a little bit of time. Let's have a look at our C's as well. Pop this on for a sec. What do I got this set on? This is our 4 hour. We'll check out the 4 hour, and then I'll have a look at the daily. Auto external, internal. Make it a little bit cleaner. So for our current H4, we've gone internal range, and we're going into the external range now. So we swept the previous H4 high. That puts it into the external range, which is the darker grey. And then these are our percentile levels. So we're currently in the 50th percentile, and this is our median here of the H4. So 50% of the time, we're looking at price hitting this median from historic candles. So we might not get too much higher during this H4, and then we'll get new data once the next H4 opens. Let's have a look at the 12 hour and then we'll look at the daily as well. So 12 hour, we're still within the previous 12 hour candle. So we're internal data on both sides. So internal median. Up a bit higher too. You're looking at, it's at 227. If we look at like the last one, right, we went internal up towards median, and then we go into the external range. Open high 12 hour into a low close. Put this on the daily. We can do weekly as well now. It'll be interesting as we're coming towards the end of the week. Daily internal median is here, which is nice. That's up around our 3.5 and our 0.79. You know, and like Asia's short reversals sort of uncommon around this time. I reckon you're good, Cozy, for up here. We'll see. This is also unmitigated too, this move. Even if we grab that whole swing, like if we make this a bit larger, over to here, this would be like a 15-minute swing here. So longs that were in here to manipulate price haven't been mitigated. They're still stuck. Same as this swing. I did just touch retest here. And they're like lots of relative equal highs here at that SD 3.5 and 7.9. All right, let's have a look at the weekly. Wow, so weekly's pretty much just opened high. It hasn't come into that internal range because we had that big gap up at open. And we'll just push straight up into the external range. So this is interesting, right? So this is actually went up into that 95th percentile on the weekly. So only 5% of weekly candles from historic data go higher than this. So yeah, very interesting spot on the weekly. That is overextended for a weekly high. We look at the last one. So we've got our open low. We come down to weekly median, internal range, and then push up external median. This one just stays in the internal weekly range. Median, median. External median to external median. Pretty cool. Internal to external. So it's plausible that we don't go much higher and get PDEH. It's going to be interesting, since that's already in the 95th percentile for external highs. Yeah, last week was pretty cool. So eyes on London today, guys. And this area up here. And these highs. Lots of confluence there. Any other questions? It's pretty nice so far. Open, low, high, close. Yeah, welcome to the Matrix, Tone. It's a tux, Cozy. It's always a tux. So we can grab that zone down in here now. So this will be a Q1 manipulation. We'll do a standard deviation pull off this too before we go. So we've got the high that made the low. We'll drag this across. And this is our Asia Q1 manipulation until the low is swept. And we're going to use this standard deviation inside the New York PM standard deviation that we're working from. Q1, sorry. So now we can do our standard deviation pull from the low to the high that made it. And we'll pop these levels on as well. So 1.5. Always nice when they start to overlap. Don't forget to, guys, after today, to go back through the monthly questions that we have and do your monthly review. Compare your month to your previous month. Go through how many counts, how many evals you've had, how many evals you've passed, how many evals you've lost, how many funded accounts you've maintained for the whole month, and ideally not lost. We want to get that data, and you want to work on data over a month. We don't want to get locked down to one day because there's always going to be good days and bad days. It's all about expanding your data over the month and getting better every month. So go through those monthly questionnaires and keep building and improving every month. Yeah, then now that they've made the logo for your shirt cozy, we need that in pajamas for sure. From your experience, what quarters do you see most of the manipulation take place in per session? Or is it a coin toss? No, it's quarter 3, Tony, is the main quarter. Asia is less though. Asia, you see a lot more in quarter 1, I guess, with Asia, especially if you're getting a low or high of the day within that 1800 to 1900 window. But yeah, mostly like London and New York AM and PM, you'll see quarter 3s. 50% of the time, it'll be a quarter 3. Let me grab the data that I've got. So London, quarter 3s, 56.5% of the time. And 48% of the time, it'll reach SD4. New York, quarter 3, 50.75% of the time. 35% of the time for Q4. For SD4, sorry. So you're better off going for like SD2 or 2.5 for New York. Asia, I haven't got a lot of data put in yet because I get a bit bored trying to record Asia stuff. Yeah, most recently we've had a lot more Q1s in there, but mostly focus on that London and New York. This data is in that manipulation channel as well in the lab if you want to check it out. Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, that'll be the Q1. No worries, man. Thanks for joining. It's nice, cozy. It's pushing up good. Maybe finish the H4 here at SD 1.5, and then we'll get that. So 1, 2, 3, and then we get the open low to sweep 2, and then continue up to SD 2.5. And then yeah, London, I want to get some 4-hour expansion down. I want to look at that fixed range volume profile POC as a draw. See if we can get that instat high of the day, cozy. All right, guys, I'm going to end it there. That's our daily chart set up. It's been a fun stream. This is recorded. I'll get this uploaded shortly and pop it in my channel. Thanks, guys.